5:30, we'll call the Mandan Public School District Number 1 to order. It is Monday, April 7th. Please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with us. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice. Thanks, everybody. We're going to move on to the next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda? Dr. Bitts, I see you got your light on.
I do. Under new business, letter C, I have another resignation that I'd like to add. Shay Morsefield, second grade teacher at Lakewood, and you should have a hard copy of her letter of resignation in front of you.
That's letter E, right?
What did I say? I shouldn't have taken my glasses off.
Any other changes? What are the wishes of the board on the agenda? We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Any further discussions? Seeing none, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is public communications. Anybody in the audience wish to address the board? Anybody wish to address the board? I see a lot of head shaking no. So we'll move on then to the administrator's report. Dr. Bitts, first item on the agenda is Child Nutrition Director retirement.
Yes, Becky Heinert has given us a letter of resignation. She intends to retire this summer. Becky's been here. I've been here. This is my 15th year, and she's been here longer than I have. She's done a fantastic job for us. Hate to lose her, but she's entitled to retire, and we wish her the best in her retirement, and we'll work on finding a successor for her.
Thank you.
I guess I would like to thank her for her years of service, and you don't need to accept her resignation, but
And I'd like to say thank you to Becky Heinert. She's been around a long time, working to feed our students and our employees and things like that. So thank you very much and enjoy retirement. Anybody else have any comments on that before we move on? All right, seeing none, we'll go on. Update on the online auction at the old Mandan High School. Mr. Legacy.
Yes, good evening. Just a quick update on the auction that's happening. McLaughlin Auctioneers has completed their inventory process for items to be sold. They've got a couple weeks of work left of cataloging and kind of organizing the items yet, getting them ready for sale. So as soon as we get a date for when that sale will go live, we'll make sure we share it with the board and share it with the community through our website and social media.
All right. And that's McLaughlin Auction, right, if anybody wants to look. So
Yep.
just so everybody's aware of it. All right, any questions for them on that?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
What happens with the items if they don't sell?
That is a great question. I think we're probably going to end up having to demo those through the demolition process.
That's what I figured. Thanks.
Any other questions? All right, if not, we'll move on. Update on lot sales surrounding the new Mandan High School. Mr. Legacy.
Yeah, last week, Tri-Energy Cynics closed on the additional lot that they purchased. That is adjacent to the previous lot that they bought, so that right on the corner of the roundabout there, Old Red Trail and Highway 1806, they own both lots that we had for sale. The proceeds from that we'll receive is about $487,000. The total of those two sales is $1.67 million. If you remember, we bought that entire property for the high school for $4.4 million, so we've recovered about 38% of that purchase cost with those two sales, and we still have a little bit more to go up there.
That's good. Thank you for that. That's a good chunk that can get back on the tax rolls in relation to it, so that'll be a good thing in relation to it. Mr. Legacy, where are we at on the contract with Knutson on this?
I believe we'll have a new contract. We'll have to renew that with him at our next board meeting. We're right at the end of his contract window.
He sent it out to us right as we were getting the agenda prepared, and I did not put it in this packet. They would like to add another year on with the same terms. I'm not opposed to that, but
all right. Well, they'll give you guys something to think about in relation to it. We can address it at the next meeting. Bring that up. Next item, legislative update. Dr. Bitts.
Yeah, a couple of things I'll visit with you about school funding. House Bill 1369 is the K through 12 funding bill. That's going to be in Senate approps tomorrow. Right now, it's at 2% per year in the per pupil payment. We'd like to see that go up. Love to see 4%. I'm not sure that's going to happen. I'm hearing rumors that it may increase to 3% tomorrow in appropriations. I'm hoping that's the case. If that does, the House passed it at 2%, so it may need to go into, would have to go into conference committee if that happens. I'll just keep going, and if you have any questions, just stop me if that's okay, Mr. Wolf.
Yep.
Property tax relief, again, I think that's going to end up going to conference committee. House Bill 1168, which is Representative Lauser's bill, but right now we're required to levy 60 mills. I think he would like to propose that we go down to 30 mills, 40 mills, 50 mills, but there'd be some buy down where the state would cover that cost, and we would drop our mills, whatever they approve. The biggest bill competing with that is House Bill 1176, which is by Representative Nathy. It's the governor's primary residence bill. The House passed it with a $1,450 tax off of every primary resident. The Senate passed it at $1,250, so they took $200 off. And that I think that'll end up going to conference committee. I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit of both of those two bills, and I'm not sure exactly how that'll look. Right now we're down to
Dr. Betts, can I ask you just a quick question here while we're on this one?
Yep.
1168 we dropped it from 60 to 50, I think is where it currently is, right? And they're looking to make a change or whatever on that.
Correct.
That would go to all property tax owners. That would be commercial. That would be everything. Where 1176 is only residential, correct?
Correct. And
That
I think
would be the one difference between the two? Other than the dollar amounts.
You're exactly right. All three classes of property, commercial, ag, and residential, would get relief under 1168. Just the primary or just residential would get the relief in 1176. I heard an interesting stat. Senator Rummel was telling us the other day that 45% of all property in North Dakota is residential, which that surprised me. I didn't think it would be that high.
That is interesting. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. There's two educational savings account bills left. Senate Bill 2400 from Senator Axman will be in the House. I believe that's going to come up to a floor vote tomorrow or Wednesday. It received a do not pass, 11-3 out of committee, and we'll see where that ends up. Because it received a do not pass, it does not need to go to House Appropriations. And then the other bill is House Bill 1540, which is Representative Koppelman's bill. It received a 4-2 do pass recommendation from Senate Ed. That's going to Senate Appropriations, and then it would go to the full Senate. That gives $4,100 to every student going to private school with no money for any public school students. Cell phones, you can ignore what I wrote in front of you. It failed 19 to 26 in the Senate on Friday. They reconsidered it today. I think the governor pushed it a little bit, and it passed 42 to 4. Also, today, Senate Bill 2354 passed the House 61-29. They're both the governor's bills, but there's a few little changes in them. The Senate version requires cell phones to be locked in a secure area during the day from morning bell to afternoon bell. The House bill does the same, but it says it can be in the locker. In other words, there's a little flexibility. We don't have to check them in and take them. Mixed feelings on that. I know that if we're collecting 1,200 cell phones between 8 and 8:20 in the morning, it's going to be a mess, and it's going to be a mess trying to give that many back in a timely, orderly fashion. And if we have to lock them in a secured area, that gets difficult too. So I'm kind of hoping I like the House version better. It's just logistically a little easier for us to implement.
Is there a fiscal note to include for an employee to do this work?
Not for an employee. You can buy pouches or bags that will store them. There's $1.5 million for the entire state. I'm not sure how much those bags cost, but
But you still got to bring them in and give them out.
yeah, it's going to be logistically, it's going to take, especially in our large high schools in the state, it's going to take a lot of time, and our middle schools for that matter. I mean, it's going to be a.
Go ahead.
I guess I was trying to figure out what if it's not secured, which I understand that would be really challenging logistically as they come in. It's either lockers or some kind of pouch. That's what you're saying, some kind of.
The Senate says it has to be locked in a secured area,
Okay.
is what the Senate says. The House says you can't have it from bell to bell. So a little more
Whatever that
flexible.
looks like like we
Yeah,
can decide that.
we'd have to come up with a policy that says, here's how we're going to do it.
And do you know how many other states have implemented this? Is it? I mean, I know it's
I want to
getting
say
some buzz, but
I want to say 10 have instituted a cell phone plan. I don't know if they're all exactly bell to bell, but
Right. And then my last question. I mean, what's the scuttle? I mean, I'm curious what internally people are saying about this bill. If you feel like you
don't-
can speak to that.
no, well, I think there's a lot of different scuttle, but I think it's going to be fine. My son's going to graduate. He's not going to be here, but if this bill is in place, I'm telling him just leave it in your car. Don't even bring it in. If you got to check it, don't make anybody deal with it. Just take care of it yourself. But sometimes when you ride the bus and you're a student at the middle school, that's not an option. So we have to find a way to make that work.
But from like a teaching perspective, what are you hearing?
I don't think our teachers like the kids having cell phones. I'm hoping that they also don't like to discipline kids who have cell phones. So I think it'll be, my hope is that we settle into a groove after the first couple of weeks and it's not an issue anymore. I was visiting with a large school superintendent who said that they have a ban in their school. First time they get it taken away. Second time it's in-school suspension. This was about a month ago, and he said they had 113 days of in-school suspension. I'm thinking, okay, that's a lot. I mean, to pull kids out of class and put them in suspension. He said, they don't make them check it in, but if a kid tells us I don't have my cell phone, I left it in my car, you believe them. I mean, you're not going to search them, so.
I was just curious. It's really intriguing, and I think that what we're hearing about how it could help educationally and maybe shift some of the concerns that so much digital engagement has had. I just think it's really interesting.
I think
I'll be really curious to see what happens. If
I
this
don't mind
goes
the
through.
ban at all. Logistically, how it works, we need to work through that.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Bitz, has there been any public outcry from parents saying they want their kids to have them? At the session, has there been?
Not as far as I know.
Okay, I was just curious if there has been.
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Go ahead.
And then last, Senate Bill 2180 has passed both the House and Senate, different versions. It requires public participation. I think one of them requires at a quarter of all meetings, one of them at all board meetings. We do allow for public participation at all our board meetings, but we do limit it to an agenda item. I think it's the Senate, what they passed, they could talk on any topic. So I'd like to see that get limited. I think it should be an agenda item, or you should exhaust your school board shouldn't be your first stop. You should go to teacher, principal, coach, superintendent before it comes to the school board. But we'll see how that shakes out.
Any questions? Thanks for the update. I hear they're trying to keep about 7 days, so.
I'm hoping by the end of April we'll be done. So,
Any questions? If not, we'll move on then to the early childhood special education update.
we serve 3 to 5 year olds in an early childhood special education program. If you have an individual education plan and you're identified with a disability, we serve you. We do that right now in 5 of our 7 elementary schools. We are going to make a change. We noticed that as we were enrolling kids, Lewis and Clark had about 10 students, and all 10 of them lived in the Lakewood area. Lakewood does not have an early childhood program, so it's not a new hire, it's not a new position. We're just taking the classroom and moving it to Lakewood. It's just going to be easier for those families. It'll be close. They'll be closer to their school, and it'll be an easier transition when those students enter school.
Okay. Questions on that? All right, next item on the agenda is a finance fact sheet comparison, Dr. Bitts, and I think you're going to do a little presentation for us.
I am. Every year that at the end of February, the North Dakota Department of Public Construction issues finance facts, and I do this just for Mr. Horn. I know he likes numbers, so if you go ahead and look, fall enrollment, I took the 12 largest school districts, and you can see Bismarck's the largest school district with just under 14,000 students. Mandan, we're the seventh largest school district with almost 4,400 students. You can jump in and ask questions anywhere you want. This is just the square miles that the district encompasses. You can see McKenzie County, which is Watford City, is the largest school district in the state geographically, 1,679 square miles. Mandan is the sixth largest school district in the state, but the second of the 12 largest. We're 908 square miles. You look down, the city of Fargo is only 57 square miles. It's just how much space they take up. Bismarck, by comparison, is 221 square miles. We're about 4 times geographically larger than them. That's why sometimes when it's snowing out and we think, well, we can have school, we go all the way down to the Cannonball River. It's a long drive. We got some students out there. We have to consider their needs as well. This is our average cost per pupil. You can see the state average is $15,290. And of the 12 largest school districts, we rank 12th. We spend $12,488 per pupil. I think we're pretty efficient. I think we do a nice job. Because of the funding formula, we're all equalized. A lot of us are bunched together at the $12,000, $13,000 mark. There's some oil money, some federal money that comes in, but we're all roughly about the same. Fargo has an unlimited mill levy. Grand Forks and Minot both have the Air Force Base, and that the tuition dollars used to be part of the formula. They're not, so that's, I'll call it gravy on top for them. They get those dollars and they get to spend that. But otherwise, Dickinson, Williston get some oil money. I'm not sure how Jamestown got there, but just something. Oh, yep.
I have a question. I'm looking at it and thinking, well, if we were up there at number 2 or 3, couldn't we pay the teachers more?
We definitely could.
So-
I'll get to that when we get to our mill levy. We'll get to that.
Oh,
Right now, this is the mill levy sheet, and you can look. Fargo has this is general fund. This pays for heat, lights, teachers, computers, textbooks, busing, insurance. Basically everything that we spend in our general fund. I think our general fund budget's just over $60 million this year. It's pretty much everything we do other than our debt payments and maintaining our buildings. But you can see the state average is 81.68 mills. We're 11th or 12th out of the districts. We levy 71.53. Mr. Legacy and I were just talking, some of those property tax relief bills have caps in there that are going to limit the ability for us to increase our taxes. And we kind of talked about, we almost penalized ourselves by being in. Right now we're okay, but I think there's going to be some limits on what we can go up. It's going to present some challenges to us because we didn't raise our taxes earlier. It's probably a good way of saying it. Did that answer your question, Mr. Peters? Okay. And then total mill levy. This includes our debt service payments and our building fund, which we use to maintain our buildings. You can see the state average is 111.8. We ranked 8 of the 12 largest schools. We're at 128.14. Right now, we've got a lot of debt that we're paying off. We're paying off Red Trail. We're paying off Lakewood. We're paying off our new high school. We're also paying off additions at Red Trail and Mandan Middle School. We're going to get some debt relief here in the next 5-6 years with Red Trail coming off, with the middle school coming off. That'll help, but right now we do have quite a bit of building debt. one of the reasons that the formula is the way it is our general fund mills are all equalized. In other words, we're guaranteed a per pupil payment of the state. What is it right now, Ryan? I can't remember what it is. I'll just say it's $11,072. We have to levy 60 mills, and the state fills in the gap for whatever we need to get to 11,072. So in Mandan, we get 70% of our money from the state. In Watford City, they only get 16% of their money from the state because it's all equalized. Everything's because Watford City generates so much money per mill. When they levy one mill, they take in Watford City, Mackenzie County takes in almost 300,000 with one mill. We take in 188,000, even though we've got almost twice as many kids as them. Taxable value, this is the tax base supporting each student. You can see Mackenzie County, Watford City, the tax base that they have. State average is $52,000 behind each kid. Mackenzie County has $123,000 behind each student. Mandan, we're about $42,000 behind each student. And then here's what I was talking about before with the equalized formula. The school formula has been really good to Mandan. We get about 70% of our money from the state. Mackenzie County gets 16% because they're property wealthy. That was a lawsuit a few years ago. That's why we have the formula that we have. Mr. Legacy and I were just talking, though. We get concerned about we get 70% of our money from the state. They have caps on the rest of it. It's going to get real tight. We're feeling some pressure of things constricting and flexibility disappearing from us. So that's all I have. It's just I know Mr. Horn likes numbers, so.
Any questions? Any comments? Not. Thanks, Dr. Betts. Moving on, then we're going to go to the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have review and consider approval of previous board minutes from March 17th, 2025. Accept Student Achievement Committee minutes from March 24th, 2025. Accept Health Insurance Committee minutes from March 25th, 2025. Accept Policy and Personnel Committee minutes from March 10th, 2025. Review and consider approval of a second and final reading of the following policies. GAA, Personnel Goals, GAA, Equal Employment and Educational Opportunities, GAD, Staff Development, GAE, Complaints and Grievances, GAF, Nepotism, GAG, Staff Conflict of Interest, GAHD, Sexual Offenders on School Property, GAIA, Solicitation by Staff Members, GAK, Personnel Records, GAL, Electronic Communications with Students, ILA-R1, Acceptable Use of Technology, Electronic Communications with Students, GBM, Personnel Transfer, and then review and consider approval of a second and final reading to delete the following policy, GAH, Staff Community Relations. What are the wishes of the board?
I would move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second. Please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is new business. Review and consider approval of busing contract. Mr. Legacy.
Yes, included in your packet is a updated contract from Harlow's for busing services for next year. Dr. Bitts and I have been negotiating this for quite a while. Remember, we went out for RFP this winter. Those bids did not come back real good for us, so we had to kind of revisit a contract with Harlow's. So included in your packet is an updated contract. This is nearly an identical contract that we've been operating off of for the last 7 years. Just a couple of notes. The contract term that we have in this agreement would be for 4 years. Does have an optional 3 years to tack on at the end, but there is also a 90-day termination clause. So if we do make the decision that we want to rebid before those 4 years are over, I do believe we have that ability to do that. Then on page 3, item number 8, under vehicle and maintenance requirements, we did ask that they included the replacement schedule. So 4 buses. So next year they'll be adding 5 new buses to the fleet and then 2 more each additional year of the contract. Our fleet is old, aging, and it has caused us some problems. I don't think this is exactly what we want, but it is a step in the right direction to at least inject some new buses into the fleet. Then the pricing structure you can find on page 4. It is a 10% increase over our busing contract from last year. If you remember from the RFP, our lowest cost increase was going to be 18%. So this is still going to be between $200,000 and $250,000 more next year. It is a significant increase. That increase will be used for new equipment, and there is a definite need to increase driver wages to try and improve the driver pool. So, with that, are there any questions on this contract or transportation in general?
So I'm just wondering, at one time we were talking about some national busing company coming in. Is that not even an option anymore?
It is an option. I'll be just blunt. I didn't feel comfortable with us being their only contract. Bismarck is rebidding their contract next year. They're a year behind us in bidding their contract. So they're still in discussions. They'll have an RFP out. I do believe we'll have the ability to join that RFP. I got a little nervous that if we would have been First Student's only client and things didn't go well for them, then they're going to exercise their out clause and we would have been in a really tough spot.
I know at one point you were talking about just doing a 1-year contract, but was that just not an option?
Nobody's comfortable with a 1-year contract, and I don't blame them. Harlow's wants to have that assurance for the capital outlay on their buses. They want to have multiple years, and their drivers as well. They want to know they have a job secured.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I got one.
Go ahead.
In the past, did we used to man that ourselves, the schooling or the busing?
Yes.
And is that not a feasible option at this time? Probably not.
It's not feasible. There were a number of changes that came about to push us to Harlow's. New driver training requirements made it nearly impossible for us to get drivers through the CDL program. And we could not find a driver pool. I managed the transportation for 6-7 years, I want to say. And towards the end, we were contracting with Harlow's just to backfill routes because we were so short-staffed. There really isn't much of a cost savings. I did a real deep dive on cost analysis. We're breaking even by doing it ourselves.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Not, what are the wishes of the board?
Make a motion to approve the busing contract?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next item, review and consider approval of low bid to replace switchgear at the Brave Center. And if you could give us an overview of what switchgear is.
Yes, included in your packet is a letter from Prairie Engineering and a bid tab from Prairie Engineering to replace the electrical switchgear. This is where our main electrical service comes into the Brave Center and distributes it throughout the building. It's old. It's original to the building, and we can no longer find replacement parts. So we need to replace it, the entire unit. It's going to be a timely process. If we approve this bid, we're still probably 10 months out from receiving the switchgear, so we're hoping we don't have any failures in that time. I did work with Prairie Engineering on this. I talked to them to ensure that if we move out of the pool, do we still need to do this and have the same service? And Jeremy Buttman said, yes, this is a full-scale replacement. You're going to need it as is to service that building, whether there is a pool in there or not. So
Okay.
I would recommend approval of this.
All right.
I have a question with
Yeah.
that. So with all the changes, and we don't know what's happened to the old high school property, what's the future of the Brave Center moving forward? Or is it going to be here long term? Like, we have no chances of.
That's our plan. We don't have enough space in the district for our administrative offices to move out. We have, I want to say probably have 50, 60 employees in that building when we talk about Morton Sioux Special Ed. There isn't a good spot for us to move out to. So,
Any other questions?
Ryan, I'm assuming Prairie went through this. It just shocks me that on a bid of only a couple $100,000, you're talking 30% differences.
Yeah, we were surprised. The estimates we had were about $175,000, so to see one come under was good. I don't know what
I'm assuming it's like-kind equipment,
it's all the same equipment. It is spec'd out. I don't know if it's just what's available for work or what they have for wages. I will say Electric Systems in general has been a very, very good partner for the school district. They have done a lot of work for us. So I think that there's probably some built-in discount for us being just a valued customer of them for many, many years.
yeah, I think they're all pretty reputable. I'm just shocked at such a small bid having that large of a gap.
Yeah.
Any other questions? What are the wishes of the board?
I guess I'll move that we approve to replace the switchgear and accept Electric Systems bid.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda, review and consider approval of new courses at Mandan Public Schools, Mandan High School peer-to-peer Phi-Ed, and Mandan Middle School pre-algebra 7th grade.
Correct. These come out of the Student Achievement Committee. I wasn't at that meeting, but peer-to-peer Phi-Ed. Right now, we have an adaptive PE for a lot of our special needs students, and peer-to-peer Phi-Ed would be allowing some regular ed kids to be part of that Phi-Ed. They would still have to take their regular Phi-Ed, but it'd be an elective course for them. I think it's a nice course, and I think it'll serve our students well, all of our students well. The second course, and we did this a few years ago, and it didn't work out well. We had a pre-algebra 7th grade, and then where they can take algebra 8th grade, and then keep taking their maths throughout. I think the reason it didn't go well is right now we've got a way for you to take algebra even in 8th grade, even if you don't take pre-algebra. And we've got a way where if you take pre-algebra, where you don't have to take algebra in 8th grade, just so some exit ramps, so we don't put students into a track and not let them get in and out. That was the problem with what we did before. I think we have that fixed, and it would be our recommendation that you approve both these courses.
All right. What are the wishes of the board?
I was just going to say, I was at the meeting too, and in case there's any confusion or any concerns, my understanding was even if you don't do the pre-algebra or prerequisites in 6th grade, there's still an option for 7th graders to also be tested into it. Because some of our concern was like maybe 6th graders aren't mentally ready for that challenge, but there'll still be an option for them so they won't miss out on that.
Correct. And even if you do get put in there and it's not a good fit for you, you have a way out. We just don't want to put kids in a track where they're stuck or they can't get out or get in. So, yeah. Thank you.
Another math option, right?
Yes.
What are the wishes of the board?
I move to approve the 2 new courses for the Mandan Public Schools.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda, review and consider approval of a certified contract for the 25-26 school year for Rachel Frank, music at Mary Stark.
Correct. This is to replace the retirement that you accepted a couple weeks ago. And it would be our recommendation that you approve this contract and welcome her to Mandan Public Schools.
What are the wishes of the board on this one?
I would move that we approve the contract for Rachel Frank for 2025-26.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. That motion passes. Welcome to Mandan, Rachel. Moving on, review and consider approval of certified letters of resignation. Alicia Wieland, special ed at Mandan High School. Becca Vorez, Special ed at Mandan High School, Lindsay Volk, 5th grade at Lakewood. Brianna Wellman, 3rd grade at Custer. Sydney Solis, 4th grade at Red Trail. Kelsey Kraus, 1st grade at Red Trail. And Shay Mersfield, 2nd grade at Lakewood. Dr. Betts.
Yeah, these are all great employees and good teachers, and hate to see them leave Mandan, but life happens, and we wish them the best in the next chapter of their life, and I'd like you to recommend you accept their resignations and thank them for their time in Mandan.
All right, thank you. What are the wishes of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the certified letters of resignment.
All right,
Resignation, sorry.
we have a motion. We have a second.
A second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. That motion passes. Thank you all for your years of hard work and making a difference in the Mandan Public Schools students' lives. Thank you very much, and best wishes on your future endeavors. Next item, future meeting dates, April 21st, regular school board at 5:30 p.m., City Hall. May 5th, regular school board, 5:30 p.m., City Hall. May 7th, retirement and recognition dinner, 6 o'clock at Venue 25. And May 19th, regular school board, 5:30 p.m., City Hall. Any other meetings that we should be aware of? Seeing none, meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Have a nice evening.